Today's interiors can be a sea of gray and flat black made of cheap plastic. Let's go back in time and check out some interiors the designers actually cared about. It didn't have to worry about saving money, weight, or safety. Unless you bought a luxury car costing more than a house, your modern interior is probably boring and blah looking. In the 1950s and 60s, that wasn't the case. Starting with the 1960 to 1962 Chrysler cars, because of their futuristic instrument cluster called the Astradome, not Astrodome, which came later for the Houston Astros. It was only found in Chrysler cars like the 300 New Yorker and Newport, and was not available for the Plymouth or Dodge brands. All the Astrodome gauges were positioned in 3 dimensions under a single dome cluster. Because these gauges extended towards the driver, the transmission and turn signal levers weren't used on the column, and instead they had the transmission push button controls on the left, and below them was a lever for the turn signal. The gauges featured a non-glare electroluminescent illumination system, say that 3 times fast, which combined red needles and numbers and letters that glowed green. The Astrodome was actually inspired from earlier Chrysler gauges used from 1949 and 1954. And what makes these interiors even more unique is the optional Highlander plaid interiors. The Astrodome brings me to the next car, the 1960 Chrysler 300F and the 61 300G, which have a full-length center console extending from the front all the way to the rear area, creating front and rear bucket seats, all having an armrest. The console housed a tachometer, power window controls, and ashtrays. The front seats swivel out automatically when the doors are opened. The door panels have nice chrome trim, the 300 emblem, and of course the gauges on the dash were the Astradome. Next, the 1961 to 1963 Imperial had a cool exterior design, but let's move to the interior, where the first thing you notice is the shape of the steering wheel and the left and right sleek angled pods. The one on the left has the push-button transmission controls, and the right one has the HVAC controls. They both have levers for the park and temperature control, and on the top is the turn signal indicator lights. The door panels have real wood, which is walnut veneer, and the windshield door and roof rail moldings are chrome. The rear seats have portfolio pouches with a metal clasp to store your items. The interior and the trunk have deep pile carpets. In case you're transporting bodies back there, they can ride in comfort too. You can't do this video and leave out the first Chargers ever made, the 66 and 67. Starting with the instrument panel, the gauges also use the electroluminescent lighting. Dodge says the instruments are illuminated with a soft, evenly diffused glow without annoying glare. There's no bulbs, filaments, or vacuum tubes. The faces of the instruments become flat light sources. The 3-spoke wood grain steering wheel came standard. Next is the full-length console running from under the dash to the rear seats. It has an optional cone-shaped clock, the shifter, and a padded armrest, which is also the storage lid. The individual rear seats have an armrest, and both seats and the armrest fold down for more rear storage area. Or one seat can remain up for one rear passenger. Dodge says the rear area can be used for long objects like skis or a place for kids to play or sleep, or hunters to sleep. Next, the 1964 Imperial had 2 models, the LeBaron and the Crown. The LeBaron cost more with a retail price of $6,434. That's a lot of money in 1964. The seats actually had a wool blend. The door panel assist handles in the middle is made of chrome, and the wood around it is real walnut veneer. I love the door handle lever design, and the lighter next to the ashtray was called a cigar lighter and not a cigarette lighter. The dashboard has the push-button transmission controls on the left, which are huge buttons almost resembling the jukebox buttons from the era. Similar buttons on the right are the heater and AC controls with the lever below them to control the hot and cold temperature. The rear windows, windshield, and roof rail moldings are actually made of chrome, and the carpet in the passenger area and trunk is a deep pile plush. Some notable features on some Mopar interiors is the Roadrunner for all the years. Any car that has a cartoon character featured throughout their interior has to get a mention. Another one is the B-body pistol grip shifter. They may not be good for power shifting, but they look damn cool. Besides the shifter handle itself, it's how long it is and the bends it takes from the floor up to the handle. The exterior of the next car, people either love or hate them. The 1962 Dodge Polara 500, but the two-tone interior overall just has an amazing look to it. Especially this red and white with the manual shifter on the floor. Next is the 1955 and 56 Chrysler New Yorker. The main feature is the dashboards and how their shape has an S-curve to them. This New Yorker has a clock all the way over here for the passenger, but how about the driver? Well, this one has a clock smack in the middle of the steering wheel. Another nice feature is the transmission gear selector and chrome handle mounted onto the dashboard on the 55 cars. Although rare in 56, the highway Wi-Fi was available, which was a record player for your car. If you're wondering how that worked, it's featured in one of my rare option videos here. Tell us what your favorite Mopar interior is in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.